Managing commercial lead times. In this quick 5-minute video, I'm going to talk to you about the key things that we have to do to manage those lead times. And it's actually pretty simple. And then what I'll do is I will link you to a longer video that talks about this topic in more depth, but this is going to be really quick hitting and it will allow you to analyze if you're on the right track. So let's cover these one by one. Number one, you must, as soon as you possibly can, create a macro or norm level takt plan for your project. That will mean that you have the start date, the end date, and you've mapped out the path of critical flow and your optimization strategies, and you know when materials are required on the job. That's number one. Number two, create a procurement log or actually put it on the actual takt plan all of your material procurement items. Nowadays, AI can go through all of your specifications to find out what materials you have and create your submittal register, or you can utilize ChatGPT to ask for your building type, what are the typical long lead items? You can do industry research, you can take it from historical timeline durations, you can ask other people on other projects, however you get it. Get those timelines into your procurement log with the required on job date, your buffer, and then the overall submittal processing process plus the fabrication time plus the delivery time and plus a buffer, okay? That is key. Now that log should show you real time where you are at all times. Now Todd Zabel talks about in his book, Built to Fail, he talks about how don't just take the supply chain lead times for what people tell you, dig in, because most of the time it's fake information and the supply chain should adapt more than it does now to the needs of the project site. So design it differently, fabricate it differently, deliver it differently, install it differently for the work package itself, but dig into that and make sure you have the right information. Number two, by the way, when you do this, both of these, start early. We have to get going. So one of the biggest annoyances that we have at Lean Takt is we're asked to come help create a master plan in pre-construction and get them started with Takt and Last Planner and Scrum. And they're like, we're about a month away. And I'm like, okay, hopefully we've been starting procurement. And they're like, oh, we don't have a team yet and we don't have our procurement log. What? This is $1 billion project. You can't do that. We have got to start these. As soon as you know you have the job, we're starting the procurement efforts. Okay, so I had to get that out of the way. Then what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have all of the buyout done to where your trade partners can start to purchase the equipment on time by queuing up the submittals and the submittal review times on time. Okay, that is key. So buyout equals your ability to procure materials. Fourthly, this is managed weekly in a strategic planning and procurement meeting. It has to be done weekly. You are going to monitor this. In the procurement log, every single step, it should trigger you if you're behind so you can take action. There's so many things that you can do. You can help the trade partner. You can separate out another submittal package. You can literally do a concurrent review, open a Bluebeam session, do a concurrent review with the designer, get additional help, swarm the submittal internally, take over shipment, separate out the order to 2 different manufacturing plants. I could keep going on and on. There's anywhere, and I've counted, there's between 15 and 30 different things you can do to expedite and recover the supply chain if you just track it real time as you go. And so that's absolutely key. And number 5, when it comes to procurement, is never go to sleep on your most critical procurement items. Always add in a buffer and make sure the design team and the owner and everybody knows about it and it is a hot item in front of everyone at all times. It doesn't matter if we can optimize the production of a project if the switchgear is the bottleneck on the project to start with. So it all has to be considered within the overall framework of the plan, and the timelines have to be managed. And as a great general superintendent once told me, do not fall asleep when it comes to those timelines. So these are the number 1 techniques when it comes to procurement so that we can manage the commercial lead times, narrow them, and get what we need on time. And if you have that, there's a lot less or a smaller chance that you'll have surprises, these force majeure type surprises that are disappointing our owners and our construction projects and our trade partners. So I'm going to put this into a little Canva graphic for you and link you to a longer video. I hope you've enjoyed this. On we go.